Good Tuesday evening and welcome to the Ncwlife Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top news stories, let's take a quick look outside our weather window, and it did dry up today. We started off on the wet side, picked up some decent precipitation. Considering we haven't had any all summer, we'll take about anything we can get right now. But look at that gorgeous camera shot from our Sky-Fi Tower camera from the Waterville area, looking down, I believe, at Entiat down that way, and the reflection off the Columbia River and the clouds along the Cascades make for a beautiful shot late this afternoon here in the Wenatchee Valley. And we mentioned the rain moving out, and that means nice weather will be moving in. We will see warm and drier conditions. Actually, it won't even be late this week. For us, it'll start tomorrow. We could see a little bit of morning fog. I think that will be mainly in the higher elevations and more into eastern Washington. Normal temperatures, though, that's good news, and we will see lots of sunshine. All the weather details coming your way a little bit later on. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. The man who set the 2015 Sleepy Hollow fire that burned down 30 homes and several warehouse facilities in Wenatchee has been ordered to pay millions of dollars in damages. The Wenatchee School District Board met in special session yesterday afternoon to discuss the superintendent search firm contract, and some of Washington's most popular hunting seasons will get underway this Saturday, October 13th. But first, we begin tonight. Chelan County Commissioners say the problems associated with the cultivation of marijuana that resulted in strict new regulations appear to be continuing. The county enacted new rules last year that are supposed to reduce the impacts from odors and grow lights that disturb neighboring property owners. But Commissioner Doug England says the county is taking legal action in response to continuing neighbor complaints.
So the neighbors that are affected, for the most serious ones, are still affected, and we're working with a way to get that completely closed down. But we want to make sure that that's done legally and done in a way that we don't have to pay a marijuana grower for some supposed damage that has not yet occurred, but will as soon as we get those lawsuits perfected and can go ahead and proceed.
England reports that the county has prevailed in several grower lawsuits that challenge the commissioner's authority to establish land use regulations. Well, the man who set the 2015 Sleepy Hollow fire that burned down 30 homes and several warehouse facilities in Wenatchee has been ordered to pay $10.6 million in damages. 40-year-old Jeremy Kendall was ordered by Chelan County Superior Court Judge Leslie Allen to pay restitution for the damages, but whether he ever will is uncertain at best. Chelan County Prosecutor Doug Shea said it's unlikely he'll ever be able to pay it. He told Ncwlife News that the damage toll could go even higher.
There could still be additional restitution that could be requested from some of the warehouses, I think, that burned down. This pretty much covered the information that we have from the area in the Broadview area.
Kendall was sentenced to 27 months in prison with 18 months of supervision after his release. With credit for time served both in jail and a mental health facility, he is then released to supervision. The Wenatchee School District Board met in special session yesterday afternoon to discuss the superintendent search firm contract. The board voted to approve the proposed $21,000 contract to Hazard, Young, Altea and Associates from Illinois to conduct the search to replace retiring Superintendent Brian Flonis. Monday's action comes amid board members Laura Jakes and Walter Newman calling for a delay in hiring a search firm because, in their words, the other school board members overstepped their bounds in the search process. They suggested an interim superintendent be hired until members of the school board work out their issues. Brian Flonis announced earlier this year that he was retiring from that post. Well, some of Washington's most popular hunting seasons will get underway this Saturday, October 13th, when modern firearm deer hunters and waterfowl hunters take to the field. Home of some of the best mule deer hunting in the state, Chelan and Douglas counties is a destination for many hunters. With its large public land base, the county offers almost unlimited opportunity to find a place of your own to hunt. 4 of the state's 6 high deer hunt wilderness areas are in Chelan County, as well as 3 bighorn sheep herds and an increasing mountain goat population. Hunters will also take to the field for waterfowl on Saturday, which includes goose, coot, and snipe. Last season, nearly 445,000 ducks were harvested in Washington. Hunters can purchase their licenses online or at any Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife licensed dealers. Coming up next here on the Ncwlife channel, Uber Capital Group from New York has obtained the acquisition loan for the purchase of the Wenatchee Valley Mall. The Chelan-Douglas Coalition for Health Improvement invites area residents to join them for a community forum identifying solutions to employment-related transportation barriers in both Chelan and Douglas counties. And Democratic Senator Maria Cantwell and Susan Hutchinson, the Republican challenger, spent much of their hour-long debate yesterday afternoon talking past one another. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the Ncwlife Evening News.
So Pam, how's your mom doing?
She's okay. She's struggling. She'd like to stay in her house, and it's getting harder for her to do the daily chores.
What kinds of problems is she having?
Just basic house cleaning, taking care of her house, yard work, taking care of her medicine.
It does sound exhausting.
It is very exhausting, and I always worry about her.
Aging and Adult Care can assist you or your loved one to remain comfortably and safely in their own home. Contact them today to start the conversation.
The physical therapists at Cascade Medical love the outdoors as much as you do. But sometimes where there's love, there's also pain. Let us help you get back to the activities that you love. Cascade Medical, partners in your health.
Thanks to the help I received at Goodwill,
I have a job.
I'm working now. Thanks to Goodwill.
Thank you, Goodwill.
Thank you, Goodwill.
Thank you, Goodwill.
Thank you, Goodwill.
Goodwill's Employment Connection Center is a free walk-in job search assistance program designed to get you back to work. When you donate to or shop at Goodwill, you're really helping people find work.
Thank you.
Goodwill, there's more behind the store.
Welcome back. In another news, Uber Capital Group from New York has obtained the acquisition loan for the purchase of the Wenatchee Valley Mall. The $9.2 million acquisition was sourced through financing from a regional bank based in Washington. Uber assists property investors in planning, negotiating, and sourcing debt and equity financing. In addition to the Wenatchee Valley deal, Uber's recent transactions include loan financing for malls in Utah, Pennsylvania, Nebraska, and Mississippi. New York-based Namdar LLC acquired the East Wenatchee Shopping Center from Vintage Real Estate of Sherman Oaks, California, back in April. The Chelan-Douglas Coalition for Health Improvement invites area residents to join them for a community forum identifying solutions to employment-related transportation barriers in both Chelan and Douglas counties. The event is called Chelan-Douglas Rides to Work, an employment and transportation forum coming up tomorrow, October 10th at the Confluence Technology Center. The times are 4 to 6 p.m. The event is for job seekers, workers, employers, care coordinators, transportation providers, and service agencies in Chelan and Douglas counties who've experienced difficulty accessing transportation for employment. The forum is free to attend and is open to anyone living, working, or commuting in Chelan and Douglas counties. Well, Democratic Senator Maria Cantwell and Susan Hutchinson, the Republican challengers seeking the long-held seat, spent much of their hour-long debate yesterday afternoon at Pacific Lutheran University talking past one another, neither engaging with one another nor directly answering many of the questions posed to them. But there were some heated moments.
As you're both aware, our nation's newest Supreme Court Justice, Brett Kavanaugh, was accused by 3 women of sexual misconduct. The allegations, which he denies, date back more than 30 years. In one case, he's accused of forcefully groping a teenage girl at a high school party when he was just 17 years old himself. Should our actions as teenagers be held against us for life? Senator Cantwell.
Well, this was a job interview for someone to be on the highest court of the land at a time when they are definitely going to change the balance of the court. So I thought a background check, like every judicial nominee and almost every high-level cabinet or ranking member in an administration has an FBI background check. So I thought those were important issues to consider. And it is up to Congress then to make its decision based on that information, how they would decide on information presented. What I think happened here, though, is we didn't have a full investigation. We had an investigation once various people came forward, but not a complete investigation. And given the challenges we face in society with institutions ignoring this evidence, I wanted to make sure we did not rush to curtail that investigation.
Ms. Hutchison, do you care to respond to that? Should things we do in adolescence be held against us when we're adults?
Well, let me go back to the confirmation hearings because they were a national disgrace. The Democrats had knowledge of a woman's letter 2 months before it was investigated, and I put the disgracefulness of that hearing squarely at the feet of the Democrats. They treated her poorly, they exploited her suffering, they controlled her lawyers so that they wouldn't tell her the things she needed to know, and they basically took away her rights to privacy. In the meantime, they besmirched a man who had an impeccable record of jurisprudence. And so everybody wonders, why would any good person step up to run for public office or put their name up for nomination, considering what this could do to their lives and their families? I feel badly for their daughters, Judge Kavanaugh's wife, and for all the people who suffered during this whole period. But I blame squarely the Democrats who used this game for their own political ends.
Cantwell and Hutchinson will meet for a second debate at 3 p.m. October 20th at Spokane Community College. You're watching the NCW Life Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's feature story and your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come on the NCW Life Evening News. Stay with us.
I have a doctor who knows what they're talking about.
It's just so much more hands-on and friendly than anywhere else I've ever been.
It's really great to walk into somewhere where you feel welcomed and you feel accepted.
We've just been grateful for the care and respect that we've been given there.
And here when I come to visit my doctor, I'm not afraid to ask questions.
It's not just about getting you in and out.
I love my care at CVCH. It's awesome. Give it a try.
Eastern Washington. It's a great place to call home and a great time to own a home. It's the ideal place to lay down roots for your family and your future. Gisa Credit Union thinks Eastern Washington is a great place to own a home too. That's why we offer all kinds of home loans with personal attention every step of the way. We're your home. For home loans, we're Gisa Credit Union.
Choose the pros, Alignment Pros. When your vehicle needs brakes, shocks, struts, or alignment, choose the experts in their field. Alignment Pros and Express Lube with a 5-star rating. The work they perform on your vehicle is as impeccable as their shop. With state-of-the-art equipment, Alignment Pros can handle all large or small vehicles, specialty cars, lifted or lowered. Alignment Pros does them all. Keep your car in top shape at Alignment Pros and Express Lube in East Wenatchee.
Welcome back to the NCW Life Evening News. As our coverage of the 4 initiatives on the November ballot continues, tonight we present the case for voting no on Initiative 940. I-940 would require law enforcement to receive violence de-escalation, mental health, and first aid training. It also would change the standards for use of deadly force and create an independent investigation in such cases.
We believe the details of 940 are costly, bad public policy, won't improve training, will erode public safety, and will not reduce violent interactions between members of the public and law enforcement. 940 divides rather than unites. It is because law enforcement is community-focused that an historic collaboration between the authors and supporters of 940 and law enforcement resulted in comprehensive reform during the 2018 legislative session. Unfortunately, a court decision forced the initiative to the ballot without the additional language agreed to by the proponents and law enforcement and enacted by the legislature. The court's decision was about process, not about content. Please do not tie the hands of the legislature. Join us in voting no on I-940 and allow the more democratic resolution crafted between the proponents and law enforcement to be implemented through future legislative action.
Hello, my name is Sean Solon, and I'm speaking on behalf of the large statewide coalition of law enforcement groups and concerned Washington residents who oppose Initiative 940 on the November ballot. Initiative 940 would put your safety and law enforcement in jeopardy and should be rejected. I-940 is a perfect example of a group of special interests reacting to their own personal grievances against our police officers and are willing to spend thousands of dollars to qualify a measure that is wholly unnecessary. Law enforcement is trained to run toward danger rather than away from it. An Initiative 940 would force police officers to hesitate and possibly even limit their ability to serve and protect the public. I-940 is not funded and would require millions of taxpayer dollars to retrain officers who already receive top-notch training in the same areas. It also removes firefighters from administering emergency care and requires officers to administer medical attention before pursuing a shooter. Sadly, law enforcement retention and recruitment has plummeted. Initiative 940 would make the crisis worse because the true purpose of I-940 is to make political prosecutions of our public safety officers easier, as seen and shared through social media accounts and statements of its promoters. This reality will result in officers hesitating before protecting the public for fear of this political prosecution. Bottom line, I-940 is an idea that might appear harmless on paper, but in the real world could be deadly. Vote no.
Changing gears now, time for a look at your North Central Washington weather forecast. But before we get to those details, why not? Let's take another peek outside our beautiful weather window today. Does it get any more beautiful than this? Look at the beautiful Columbia River as we look down from our Waterville Sky-Fi tower camera. The beautiful reflection on the Columbia River, Entiat down there as well, and the shadows back there in the Cascades, making for a beautiful, beautiful afternoon all around North Central Washington. As soon as the rain showers moved out, the clouds still a little bit slower to move away from here, but still all in all a pretty decent end to our day. High temperatures though, once again, were on the cool side. In fact, we've remained below normal now for about a week or two here in the Wenatchee area, with high temperatures only in the lower 60s and some 50s. Taking a look at today's almanac, high temperature today only topped off at about 56 degrees, 57. There we go, 57 degrees, 48 our overnight low. Pretty much where we should be for this time of the year, but a little bit below our normal high, which is about 65 degrees. The good news, and I'll tell you about it in a second, is we are going to get back there within the next couple of days. Our record high, 79 degrees. That was set in 2014. Do you remember that? Our record low, 30 degrees back in 1985. So since midnight, we've picked up 8/100ths of an inch of rain, and that means about a quarter of an inch, a little over a quarter of an inch of rain since it all began last Friday night. Remember, if you were at the football games, you do remember that last Friday night. So that means our total now is at 4.66 inches for the year. 7:11 our sunrise this morning, and our sun will set tonight pretty early now at 6:24. Putting our surface loop map in motion, things are getting nice for us here as we move into our Wednesday forecast. But first, let's talk about Hurricane Michael. This is what's spinning around right now in the Gulf of Mexico, and it's moving almost right towards Panama City, Florida, which is right there. 110 mile-an-hour winds associated with this hurricane right now. It is a Category 2, probably will be bumped up to a Category 3, and the bad news is it's going to trek right up into the Carolinas, where they had the hurricane not so long ago that caused a lot of flooding, and more rain is on the way there. We'll keep you posted on Hurricane Michael as our week progresses. Now back to our local weather. As I mentioned, nice, mostly sunny and dry as we move into our Wednesday. Once again, this area of high pressure is blocked here in the eastern Pacific, and it's dragging very warm air up and around that area of high pressure and back into Washington. So it's not very warm when it reaches us, but it's still very mild and a nice flow for us this time of year. Thursday, sunny and warmer. Things look great as we get into the end of the week. Friday, sunny, a bit of a breeze on Friday with the north wind about 5 to 15 miles an hour. Our high pressure begins to lift towards the west coast of British Columbia. It continues that trek on Saturday, but our weekend looks spectacular with sunny skies, mild temperatures throughout Washington state. We will see that trend continue into our Sunday with sunny skies once again. High pressure just will not leave, but you notice a lot of wind now shearing up the backside of that high pressure. There's a gigantic area of low pressure up in Alaska and over into Siberia that could signal a weather pattern change as we move into Monday. Even though Monday will be beautiful for us here in Washington, a lot of storminess could begin to move down. We're talking by the middle of next week and probably the end of next week as well. But don't worry about it right now. Our weather looks great. Taking a look at your quick lube and tune forecast. Tonight we will drop down to 43 degrees, and that will be our trend right through the week with lows basically in the low 40s. Still not real threat for garden vegetation, but it is getting down there a little bit. 59 our high today. We didn't make that. 61 though will warm up to on Wednesday. 64 on Thursday with sunshine and warmer conditions. The mild weather will continue right through the weekend with highs right where we should be for this time of year into the mid 60s, and we'll start off our Monday on a nice note as well. Sunshine and mild conditions with highs next week to start our work week at 65 degrees. And that's a look at your local weather. Coming up next, Dan Kuntz in for Eric Granstrom with sports and more as the NCW Life Evening News continues right after this.
Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house, featuring great family dining in downtown Chelan. We've got burgers, pub fare, and the best barbecue around. Try one of our award-winning sauces made fresh here in-house. So grab the whole gang and come on down. Stormy Mountain Brewing. Beer, barbecue, friends, and beer.
With 15,000 square feet to explore, you'll find something special at the Antique Mall at Cashmere. For the do-it-yourselfers and those with a keen eye for making something old, fresh and new again, the Antique Mall at Cashmere is the place to come find your next project. From the coin enthusiasts to avid collectors, Antique Mall at Cashmere has treasures in every corner. Come find your treasure today. Antique Mall at Cashmere's friendly staff is here to help. Stop on by today.
The NCW Life Channel is your home for local news, local weather, and events including live local high school sports. Watch inspiring local shows featuring local people. Don't miss Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Let's Learn. Guada TV. Street Talk and Other Stuff. The 12th District. Life with Lisa. And the Arbiter of Stoke. NCW Life Channel is your local TV station.
Yes, we are live from Studio 2. And I am Dan Kuntz. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We got news, we got sports, we got weather, we got obscure holiday, today in history, birthdays. Tom Potter joins me in studio. How are you? And Rod Cool is my guest today. The expert is Bonnie Orr. We're broadcasting live from Studio 4, from Studio 2, Studio 7 here in downtown Wenatchee. Time for the obscure holiday of the day. Your Dog to Work Day, Beautician's Day. It's National Selfie Day, and in honor of National Selfie Day, I'm going to take a picture of myself.
Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, mornings at 7 o'clock on the NCW Life Channel.
And now it's a sports update on the NCW Life Channel.
Hi, everybody. Dan Kuntz filling in for the ailing Eric Granstrom. Get well soon, bud. Let's jump right to it. The Les Schwab scoreboard, Major League Baseball playoffs, as good as it gets. Houston batted all the way around in a 6-run 8th inning. They complete the 3-game sweep of Cleveland. The final 11-3. So the defending World Series champs await the winner of the Boston Red Sox and the New York Yankees series for the American League Championship Series. We know who's going to play in the National League Championship Series. It's the Dodgers and the Brewers. Dodgers punched their ticket. They beat Atlanta 6-2 last night. David Freese delivered a 2-run base hit to turn the game around for L.A. Manny Machado's 3-run home run, the capper. The Dodgers advance to take on the Brewers. Brock Holt became the first person to ever hit for the cycle in a postseason game. It happened yesterday. Boston pounded the Yankees. The final was 16-1. Boston can wrap up the series this afternoon. Game 4 in the Bronx, which is taking place pretty much as we speak. Let's take a look at what's on tap for the Prep Sports schedule. First of all, let's head to the pitch. Manson is at Libertyville. Chelan is at Cascade. That's at 4:30. Cashmere will host Omak at 6:30. Eastmont's on the road. They'll be in Eisenhower to take on the Cadets. That's at 7. And tonight, right here on the NCW Life channel, it is Wenatchee and Davison girls soccer. Sebastian Malaga and Matt Wisen on the play-by-play. Look forward to that. Volleyball tonight. Antioch hosts Cascade Christian at 5:30. 6:30. They get going. Lake Roosevelt and Manson. Waterville Mansfield will host Libertyville. Chelan travels to Cascade, and Omak is at Cashmere. Eastmont is on the road to Moses Lake. That gets underway at 7. Everybody into the pool. The Wenatchee girls swim and dive team is in Yakima today, the gateway to Wapato. Panthers have a double duel with West Valley and Sunnyside at Lion Pool today, 4 o'clock there. In cross country, Bridgeport is hosting a whole bunch of schools. There you go. Cascade, Moses Lake, Okanagan, Tenasket, Wilson Creek will all be running all over Bridgeport at 4 o'clock this afternoon. Some news that came out rather quietly yesterday. My good friend Jeremy Anders is coming back to the big city. He's going to be the new GM of the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval. It's a perfect fit for Jeremy. He basically grew up at the track, so that's really good. He's been working at the Evergreen Speedway in Monroe for the last couple of years, but he's going to be taking over the day-to-day operations of the WVSO next spring. Congratulations, Jeremy. And it appears that the group is going to try and make another stab at indoor football here in the Wenatchee Valley. Mickey White of the Wenatchee Valley Rams posted this on his Facebook page, and he's the coach, or a coach anyway, of the new Wenatchee Valley Skyhawks, an indoor football team that will begin play in 2019. Now, according to their Facebook page, the Skyhawks were founded by Hook Sports Media, and they will play in the American West Football Conference. But if you look up Hook Sports Media or the American West Football Conference on television or on the internet, can't find anything. Anyway, keeping our fingers crossed on that. Of course, the Wenatchee Valley Venom, they took a run at indoor football about 10 years ago, but they suffered from poor attendance, and they folded after a couple of seasons. There was indoor football in Spokane and in the Tri-Cities, but those franchises don't exist either. Best of luck to Coach White. And those are just some of the games that people are playing. Grant, back to you.
Thank you, Dan. Interesting news. Before we leave you tonight, a program reminder. The NCW Life channel, in conjunction with Coho Radio and the Wenatchee World, will bring you live coverage of the 2018 Candidate Forum from the Numerica Performing Arts Center. It's at 7 p.m. Candidates in the local contested races will answer questions from 3 panelists. Segments of the show will include races for Chelan PUD Commissioner number 2, both the Douglas and Chelan County Sheriff's races, a position on both the Douglas and Chelan County Commission, and both races for state legislature. Also, next Wednesday, October 10th, the NCW Life channel will bring you live coverage of the one and only debate between the candidates running for the U.S. 8th District Congressional seat, Dino Rossi and Dr. Kim Schreier. Coverage will begin at 7 p.m. from the campus of Central Washington University in Ellensburg. And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. Also, keep it right here on the NCW Life channel tomorrow morning for Wake Up Wenatchee Valley with host Dan Kuntz and News with Steve Hare. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us and have a great night.
This is TV. This is TV Set Free. TV everywhere from Localtel sets you free to watch what you want, where you want. Catch your favorite networks, including live TV, ready to watch on any web-connected device for no extra charge. That's TV Set Free. Enjoy the extra value Localtel delivers with TV everywhere. Visit localtel.net and sign up today.
If you want to work in healthcare, choose the program that teaches the skills employers want. The Charter College Medical Assistant Program combines hands-on learning in the lab with convenient online learning, plus real-life experience with an externship. Classes start every 5 weeks, so you don't have to wait to launch your new career. Enroll with confidence, knowing Charter is institutionally accredited by the Accrediting Bureau of Health Education Schools, and be ready to work in less than a year. Charter College. We work to get you to work.
Have a fun video you'd like to see featured on NCW Life? Email us at newsphotos@ncwlife.com.